What's up, SkidKidz? Today we're going to be restoring some taillights. This is off a 87 Toyota Corolla GTS, and we'll get my light here, wherever it went. Somewhere. There it is. As you can see, these taillights are gross, faded, scratched. They're not too bad. I've seen worse. But we're going to be bringing these back to life. This one's pretty bad. You can see how dirty it is. But we're going to be bringing those back to life with some 2000 wet sand and a buffing compound, and they're going to look like they're brand new, straight out of the box. So I'll show you the supplies you need. Alright, so the supplies you're going to be needing to restore some taillights is pretty simple. You're going to use some 2000 wet sandpaper. You're going to need some chamois. Any kind of wax, your choice. It's plastic, so you don't have to get anything too aggressive. So this is Mother's Brazilian Carnauba. It smells pretty good. It works pretty good. Some sort of, you can do this by hand, but some sort of electronic or powered buffer with a buffing wheel and a finishing foam pad works the best, I think. You can do it, when you do it by hand, it just takes really long and you can't get some of the deep scratches out. So just to be safe, either borrow one, or if you already have one, that's great. And a bucket of water with a little bit of soap. And that's basically it. I'm going to show you guys how to take off the taillights now, and we'll go from there.
Come in, I could seat you by the fire. Listen, there's something I must confide. I know I said that it'd be fine. I know I made it look like it'd be alright. I think I learned my lesson, and I'm not gonna let you out of my sight. You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter when you're answering to God. You can call me killer as you look into my eyes. Nothing but a sinner, you won't get away.
Okay, once you got your taillights off the car, I laid them out on a sheet just to keep them off the crappy concrete that would scratch them up. And now I'm just going to wash them down and get all the surface dust and surface dirt off so I can get ready to wet sand.
This time, you won't get away. This time, you won't get away. This time, you won't get away.
Alright, once you got your taillight nice and cleaned off and all most of the surface dirt off, because if you're sanding over dirt, you're basically just pushing the dirt into the taillight and you're just scratching it up more. So make sure you got a clean surface to start sanding with, even though that's technically what you're doing to it. But you're going to take your 2000 grit sandpaper and you're going to dip it in the soapy water. Cold or warm, doesn't matter. Just whatever, just warm because it feels good on your fingers. But I'm just going to start scrubbing, which I can't do this one hand, so I'm going to put you guys down. But what will happen is you're going to sand this whole thing until it's nice and smooth, and then you're going to notice that it's going to turn really foggy, and it's going to look terrible, but then you're going to come back and buff it and it's going to look brand new. So we're going to start sanding. Alright, so now it's time to dry it off. So just take your chamois or towel, wipe her down. Because you want to have a dry surface for buffing, because the buffing compound or the wax that you use does not like to mix with water. Alright, now you can see it's nice and dry. I'll get my flashlight here, wherever I keep putting that inside here. You can see that it actually turns extremely foggy. And this is the point where you can see areas you missed, but it doesn't look like I missed anywhere. Looks like there's a little bit right there in the corner. But most of it looks pretty good. So I'll come back and hit a couple spots, and then we'll be ready to buff it back out. Alright, so now you're going to take your mother's wax or whatever you guys are using. I'm just going to put a couple drops on it here. Kind of space it out. Like that. Now take your buffer or whatever you're using by hand and kind of smear it all so you don't throw it everywhere once you turn on the buffer. And mine has variable speed, so I kind of put it on 4, kind of in the middle, and let the buffer do the work. Don't apply pressure. You can, it'll build heat and get it done quicker, but just take your time. Let the buffer do its job. Just let it sit on there and cook and buff it out. So let's buff it out. Once you're done buffing, simply take your chamois, wipe off the remaining wax. Get the dust off. And there we go. Look at this. Nearly brand new. You could go back and do another round of 2000 wet sand and see areas that you may have missed, but this looks pretty good. There are a couple deeper cracks and scratches that I won't be able to get to, but that looks pretty good. So now we're just going to move on to the next one. Same thing, just sand and dry and then buff. So I forgot I had this, and this actually does a lot too. This is a Turtle's Trim Restorer, and it's for like plastics on automotive vehicles and like boats and stuff like that. But it restores this faded plastic here. It doesn't really restore it. It kind of just hides the fade for a while. You have to always go back and do it again, but that'll give us a nice clean black look in all this faded plastic. So I'm going to throw some of that on and see how it looks real quick. Alright, as you can see, this faded plastic is now nice and black. You can see there's a little bit of faded in the corner I couldn't really get. I didn't really want to go inside and get a Q-tip. It'll be alright. But now look at that. It looks like a brand new taillight. Looks so good. So we'll throw this on the car real quick. Once they're on, give them one little final wipe down here. And here we go. That was how to restore AE86 taillights. Well, any taillight really. I'm going to throw back in the wiring harness and turn them on and see how much better they light up and if they look a lot better. So eventually I'll convert the brake lights to LEDs. So we'll have another video on that. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy, and hope you go out and into your own garage and do this to your own car.
Come in. I could seat you by the fire. Listen. There's something I must confide. I know I said that it'd be fine. I know I made it look like it'd be alright, but I think I learned my lesson, and I'm not gonna let you out of my sight. You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter,